The Galaxy S25 Ultra is a great phone, but it's also the best mobile gaming device you can buy right now. Today, I'll be testing out the Snapdragon 8 Elite 4 Galaxy by using emulators, playing mobile games, and seeing how far it'll go with Samsung DeX. But first, let's go over what's new. Okay, the S25 Ultra doesn't have a ton of new features, so I'm gonna speed right through them. It's now a more boxy design with completely flat sides and slightly rounded corners. The S Pen is still here, but it doesn't support Bluetooth anymore. The display has the same tech as last year, except it's tougher glass, a tiny bit bigger, and the bezels are even thinner. But you know what's not thin? Those camera rings. And again, they're the same as last year, with the exception of the 50 megapixel ultra wide. And that's basically everything new on the outside. But on the inside, we have the new Snapdragon 8 Elite 4 Galaxy, which is slightly faster in terms of CPU compared to the non-Galaxy version. The phone also features a larger vapor chamber to manage heat during intense activities. But other than that, the storage is the same, battery size, and charging speed. But there's now support for Qi 2. One UI 7 does come pre-installed on the S25 lineup, which has some features borrowed from iOS. If you're interested in the Galaxy S25 Ultra, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Alright, the Snapdragon 8 Elite 4 Galaxy is fast, and it can handle everyday things without any issues. But let's see how well it can run some games. I'll start off with something simple like an emulator. I also have GPU watch enabled, so I can keep track of the FPS and load. I'm gonna launch Pizza Boy C Pro and open Pokemon Yellow. Very simple game, so I have Ash walk around with Pikachu following him. The FPS is at a constant 121, CPU is around 20%, and GPU is about 5%. And if we get into a battle, the numbers are similar. Next, I'll play Golden Sun 2 using the Game Boy Advance version of the app. I'll just walk around, and the frame rate is averaging around 60, CPU about 25%, and GPU around 3. And I get similar results when I enter a fight. It's a basic emulator, and the chip had no problems running it. So I'm gonna move on to mobile games, starting with Goddess of Victory, Nikke. I set everything to max, the graphics, frame rate, and resolution. I also have Samsung's Game Booster at the best settings. At the main screen, I'm seeing 61 FPS, with the CPU around 30% and the GPU at 27%. When I select the different menus, the numbers will fluctuate for a bit, then return to normal. I'm going to jump into campaign mode and run around the map. I'm getting the same FPS, but there's a 20 to 30% CPU usage and 50 to 70% for GPU. And if I hop into a battle, ignore the character designs, I'll get 61 FPS, 27 to 35% CPU, and 50 to 80% GPU. Next, I'm gonna play Honkai Star Rail. All the graphics settings are set to the highest, but there's only 60 FPS and no controller support on Android. It's a demanding game since I'm just standing here, and the CPU is around 25% and the GPU at 80. And as soon as I start running, the numbers will jump. I noticed it stuttered once, but I can't get it to do it again on camera. And when I'm in a boss fight, the GPU goes crazy because of all the effects. Overall, the game runs really smooth, but the phone did get a little warm after about 15 minutes. I don't have one of those temperature laser guns, but according to the Pixel 9 Pro XL, the back of the phone was about 40 degrees Celsius. And for the last mobile game, I'll open Wuthering Waves. I set everything to max settings, and there's actually a warning saying the performance is overloaded. I'll ignore it and connect the GameCert G8 Plus since controllers are supported. The game has similar CPU and GPU usage as Honkai Star Rail, but I think it runs better since I haven't had any stuttering. Let me get into a fight, and let's see if I can get it to lag. From the 3 games I played, the Snapdragon 8 Elite 4 Galaxy proved it can handle the most intensive games. Now, I want to push this chip to its limits by using Samsung DeX. I rarely use it, but DeX allows you to connect the Galaxy phone to a monitor or TV and have a desktop-like experience appear on the screen. It looks like Windows with the shortcuts over here, and the so-called Start menu, and all of your apps. I can open Chrome in Notion in split view, or have Twitter in this corner, and Instagram in this one. But let's try gaming. I do want to point out that I enabled high resolution for DeX by installing GoodLock. By default, it's limited to 1080p, but I can change the resolution to 4K. And I have a mouse, keyboard, and DualSense controller connected via Bluetooth. Games are going to have similar performance as mobile, but just on a bigger screen. I'll open up Nikke again, and what's nice about this game is that it's optimized for portrait and landscape orientations. I believe most games run at 1080p, and it's just scaled up for this higher resolution. I'm going to walk around the map, Then enter a battle. Again, ignore the characters. The game runs fine, and there are no issues here. Next up is my favorite game right now, Zenless Zone Zero, and it's because of one agent, Astra Yao. Anyways, this is a demanding game like Honkai Star Rail and Wuthering Waves. All the settings are set to the highest, and I'm getting 61 FPS when idle, and around 30% CPU and 75% GPU. If I enter a fight, it's a constant 61 FPS, CPU about 30%, and GPU in the 80 to 90%. This chip has great performance, but how about if I open 4 games at once? Unfortunately, Honkai Star Rail and Nikke only have mouse support, and Wuthering Waves doesn't support any input on DeX. I'll open all 4 games in each corner, and have one stuck at the main menu, 2 on auto, and the other where I'm actually playing. The chip is being overloaded, and games have a noticeable lag. After about 5 minutes, the temperature is around 50 degrees Celsius. It's pretty cool that you can do this, but it's probably not a good idea. You can also run PC emulators, but I couldn't get them to work. With the Game Hub app installed, you'll see a nice interface with all these top games. There's also different tabs for PC games, mobile games, remote play for PlayStation or Xbox, and cloud streaming. Regarding Geekbench scores, I compare the Snapdragon 8 Elite 4 Galaxy to Apple's A18 Pro chip and Google's Tensor G4. The 8 Elite scored 3091 for single core and 9850 for multi-core. For the A18 Pro, it got 3514 for single core and 8845 for multi-core. And the Tensor G4 received a score of 1942 and 4544 for single core and multi-core. On the GPU side, I used Vulkan, and the 8 Elite scored 26,577 compared to the Tensor G4's 8,535. Apple uses Metal, but it got a score of 32,942. I'll end things off with the app launch test. The Galaxy S25 Ultra and the iPhone 16 Pro Max are pretty close. Sometimes the Galaxy wins, and other times it doesn't, but it's like a second or 2 off. And between the S25 Ultra and the Pixel 9 Pro XL, Galaxy won every time, but I was surprised the Tensor G4 didn't fall too behind. The Snapdragon 8 Elite 4 Galaxy is an awesome chip, and combined with Samsung's hardware, you get a nice phone, gaming device, and PC all in one package. Let me know if you'd get the Galaxy S25 Ultra in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!